All right. Hello, Betsy. I read in the Atlantic magazine a headline comparing the presidential candidate Donald Trump to people such as Mussolini, Stalin, and Hitler, some of the historically villainous people that have ever existed. My question pertains to Donald Trump, and if the guides have anything to mention pertaining to him in today's life. Is he a reincarnation of one of the aforementioned? That's a big question. And I do tend to stay out of the political arena, but again, I love all questions that come through because I am not in charge of that part. I am just here to relay the messages. And again, so you can send any question you like. Let's see what the guides say here. So they are saying, this is so fascinating. So people have different roles on the planets. We have different roles in the universe. And there are, hang on here. Wow. There are people that come on to the planet to play the role of a disruptor. Hitler was a disruptor. Stalin, Mussolini, all disruptors. In that case, they would say, yes, Trump is a disruptor. He is disrupting. He's changing things. So in a way, these human people come in almost like the hurricanes and the floods, these natural disasters, and they pack a punch, and they are here to change the landscape of how we're being here, just in a very different way. So their design is to come in and disrupt, and force change. So one of the things, he is certainly polarized the country, and there's pretty clear pro-Trump and not pro-Trump pockets. And what they're saying, though, he is causing disruption here, and he's forcing people to really identify what they need, what they want, their primary sense of being here. So one thing about Trump is he is really speaking to the victim energy. And he is, and if y'all haven't read about the victim triangle, it's the rescuer, the victim, and the persecutor. I always put the rescuer at top because to me it's the one that is really achieving harmony and balance. But Trump cycles through these all the time. And if you read his personal story, you would understand why. He has had an extraordinary life and a really unconventional childhood, but it would dictate him being in this triangle. And so he's leading in a political platform, a very public platform from this triangle. And he is speaking to a lot of people on the planet that feel victimized or powerless in their situation, that feel like they need saving. And that's why he goes into rescue mode and promotes himself as this great savior. I'm going to rescue everybody. So, and why he can get into the persecutor role and be angry and attack, those that aren't feeling powerless in their situations, and he does, he got shot at. That's part of the victim energy. So when we are in victim energy, we just attract more things to feel victimized by. Again, there's so much about energy. And we're going to answer your questions, the guide said. So really, he's bringing awareness to how you're living your life. Do you feel like you need to be rescued? Do you feel like you have no control, like you're powerless to your life and the situation you're in? Are you angry at the hand that life dealt you, so to speak? Are you angry at the politicians? Are you angry at whomever, your parents? I don't know. But that's what they're saying, is he is really forcing a big spotlight on that dynamic, and for people to really get in touch with it. Because when we're in that dynamic, unless we have a way to get out of it, working with someone trained in it, how to liberate, because it's a subconscious program that runs in our mind, and it could show up in every part of our life, actually, from career, relationships, finances, health. It's just always something to fix, always something to fix, always something to rescue. And so he is bringing awareness around that, and he's showing us, I mean, honestly, it's like half the country is in that, probably more than half, but that way of being is not sustainable, and it's just constantly cycling. So there's that, and that's a big one. And in answer to, is he a reincarnation? So what I'm hearing to say is there are very few people willing to play, very few souls willing to play the disruptor. And he is one of the disruptors. The guides will not say he's a direct reincarnation. They will say there are very few souls that will play that role, because it's a really hard role to play. And so on one hand, we have to look at someone like him, Hitler, any of them that have done in the past those really tragic things. They were playing a disruptive role. They were showing like a level of humanity, almost like, if we don't check ourselves, this is what humans are capable of. And we have learned so much from those experiences and studying them and the history of it. And they're there to remind us, like when you think about the Holocaust and how deplorable that whole thing was, the guides are saying, those moments in history just remind us how far we're capable of going as humans, and how subtly it just happens. It's people get brainwashed, on a mass scale. And that is what we're seeing here with Trump. There's this brainwashing on a mass scale. And of course, if any those brainwashed are listening now, they're not going to hear it like it's being presented, like it's coming through. And that's okay. That's okay. That's just part of their journey. It's where they are. And for those of us not in that brainwashed space, and we can see where love and kindness and a more spiritual way of thinking and being is helpful, and we keep choosing that. So he is one of few disruptors. Has he had a life as a disruptor before? The guides say yes, absolutely. Is he disrupting in a different way this time? No. And that's where history can repeat itself. And we are seeing the beginning of that repetition. And so, yeah, it's a warning. It's an awareness. Thankfully, there are many evolved souls on the planet today still who can see through that. But it's there, and it will present itself again and again. And whether it's in this country or another country, we're always going to have some level of disruption in this way until the planet really evolves, till humankind really evolves. And the answer to that is the victim triangle is rooted in the ego and fear. And there's manipulation, judgment, resentment, guilt, feeling sorry for people. All of that is in that triangle. And when we can be here in an evolved and liberated from reacting, and acting from those places, then yeah, the planet will begin to reflect more and more and more of that. Everybody has the victim archetype within them. It's choosing to be aware of it and not letting it be dominant and be a dominant aspect for us. Just like the judge and that inner critic, there's victim in there too. And if you find yourself feeling sorry for yourself, you know what? Chances are you slipped into that and you now want to rescue yourself out of the situation you're in. And so just be curious about that and willing to look at that. So, wow, so interesting.